Hi, welcome to Virtual CB1A. This is Miss Rena, and for this video discussion, we will focus on compound interest. So you are already familiar with this concept because we've tackled this already during your GE 114 class. So let's start. Banks usually use compound interest to calculate the earnings on our money. Let's look at this example. So if you deposited, say for example, about $100 at a yearly rate of 2%, and it is compounded, that is, every time na mag-earn ka ng interest, it is added to your original money, which is $100. We have a term for that. Yung original na money that you deposited in your account is called the principal. So it is compounded once a year. So you will have on year 1, take note, this is just on year 1, you will have $100 plus the 2% of your $100. Or in other words, that is, lagay natin siya dito. You're going to make use of the formula. So principal, sobrang malaki. Ayan. So principal plus your interest. And saan equal yung interest mo? Your interest is equal to PRT, or the principal times the rate times the time. So this is from the simple interest formula that we discussed in the previous video. So if we are looking for P plus I pala for the total amount at the end of 1 year, we are actually looking at your principal plus PRT, which is also equal to P, factor out natin si P, times 1 plus RT. Okay? Now, what will happen on year 2? So, syempre, magkakaroon ka ng panibagong principal, di ba? So, what if the principal that you will get on year 2 will be derived on the principal that you will get from year 1? So, lagyan natin sila ng mga notation. So, this is the principal that you used on your first year. Ito yung original na principal. Let's call it P sub 0. And then the total amount in your account, let's call it P sub 1 at the end of 1 year. So your P sub 1 here will be the value that we are going to use for the computation in year 2. So meron tayo ditong 102. So ito si P sub 1. What we're going to do is to get the sum of P sub 1, ito si P sub 1, plus yung 2% of P sub 1, which is P sub 1 times R times T. So, plus P sub 1 times R times T. So, if you are going to simplify this one, since P sub 1 is equal to P times 1 plus RT, and of course, P sub 1 is also equal to pasimplihin pala natin siya. So, since si P sub 1 ay common to both terms, you can simply write P sub 1 times 1 plus RT. But we have here a formula for P sub 1, and P sub 1 is actually equal to P times 1 plus RT. Okay? And meron kang isusunod ulit dito, 1 plus RT. So, at the end of the 2-year term, you have P times 1 plus RT na dalawang beses or squared. Okay? And if you are going to continue this procedure or this process, you can actually end up with, ayan, so this formula, yung mga yan, which will give you eventually the formula, the total amount A, ayan. Kasi ending na tayo eh. So, total amount A na lang siya. The total amount A in your account at the end of your compounding periods is P times 1 plus RT raised to N, where N is the number of compounding periods. Okay? So, in our case here, our P is equal to 100. Your R is equal to 2% and T is equal to 1. And since we are looking for the total amount at the end of 3 years, we are going to replace N by 3. So, bakit t is equal to 1 dito? Kasi annual siya nagko-compound. Okay? So, let's substitute the values to our formula. We have 100. Although, nandito na rin siya. Times 1 plus 2% is 0.02. Times 1 raised to the power of 3, you will get 100. Times 1.02 raised to the power of 3, ito yon. And if you will use your calculator to solve for this, you will eventually arrive with 106.12. And of course, don't forget your currency, which is in dollars. Okay? Okay, so I hope I was able to make it clear. This time, let's have this example. We have $1,000 were compounded monthly for 3 months at an annual interest of 10%. How much interest would there be? Okay, so let's look at the given first. So let's enumerate the things that we have here. So of course, we will start with the principal, and your principal amount is $1,000. Now, how about our rate? So our rate is known to be 10% annually, right? But we cannot substitute this directly to our problem kasi ang hinahanap ay just for 3 months and the behavior of your investment ay nagko-compound siya monthly. So, we have to find the monthly rate of this problem. So, since this is 10% annually, we have to divide 10% by the number of months in a year, which is 12, right? Okay, so I don't have a calculator ready, so just wait a moment. I will just get a calculator. I suggest that you do the same para sabay tayong nagko-compute. So, this is 0.10 divided by 12, which is equal to calcu. 0.10 divided by 12, we actually have 0.0083. And this will go on indefinitely. Yan. Lagi lang siyang 3. So, this is our monthly rate. Okay? And then, our time, syempre, ay annual pa rin siya. So, that is 1. But, our N will be different because our N is just for 3 months. Okay? Ang compounding period natin ay for 3 months lang. Now, how much interest would there be? Take note, hindi hinahanap ang total amount. But we don't have a formula for the interest yet. So, pwede naman na for the total amount, we have P plus I, di ba? So, if we are going to find A first, we can actually get the interest by using A minus P is equal to I. So, since there is no way for us to get I agad-agad, let's use this formula and then just get the difference between the total amount and the principal to eventually get the total interest. So, let's substitute our values. We have A is equal to P ayaw gumana ng pen ko. Times 1 plus RT raised to the power of N. Actually, minsan confusing kasi si T. On some books, you will find that T is sometimes dropped on equation. So, dun sa ibang mga formula natin, we have A is equal to P times 1 plus R raised to the power of N na lang. In this case, if we are always dealing with annual interest, I suggest that you just settle with 1 plus R. Madali naman yung makita. As long as annual, yung compounding annual, yung interest na given sa inyo, T is always equal to 1. So, either way, parehas naman yung magiging sagot because you are going to substitute 1 here. So, sagot na tayo. We have $1,000 times 1 plus our rate, our new rate ha, hindi yung annual rate natin. Our monthly rate, which is 0.0083. Hindi ko na isusulat si t since that is just equal to 1. And then raised to the power of 3. So we have 1,000 times 1 plus or 1.0083 raised to the power of 3. Okay, let's perform some computation. We have 1,000, open parenthesis, 1.0083 raised to the power of 3. So you will get a total amount at the end of 3 months na approximately equals sa 1,025.11. So $1,025.11. So this is the approximated value. Now how can we get the value for I? So as I've said earlier, the formula that we are going to use is A minus P is equal to I. So I is equal to A minus P, that is 1,025.11 minus your principal, that is 1,000. So you will end up with an interest which is equal to $25.11. Okay? Okay, so this is our final answer. So I hope I was able to make it clear. Just wait a moment, I will get a charger. Okay, now let's talk about bank deposits.